last left off, our group of miscreants, having been sent away from Neverwinter on a quest in order to locate several items that had been strewn across Faerun, the spires of Lakith. After a Gith attack on Neverwinter, it is believed that these items were caused or somehow influenced the affair, but were left around. Gith Yankee forces have attempted to acquire several. The parties intervened, currently in the possession of one that they collected all the way up close to Bryn Shandar. They've now made their way back. In the last episode, the party bloodhunter, Posey, awoke to find herself distinctly lacking one of her tomes, two of which she keeps very close on her possession, one of which was missing. Frantically looking around, she could not find it. However, it was then later discussed with the innkeeper that there was only one thing that was out of place in the room, and that is the fact that there was no cupboard in any of the other rooms, a cupboard with a window or a mirror on it. So the party took the entire thing out, and after several unique scenarios played out within drawers, someone decided to, when in doubt, call the Fae, which one of the party members happened to be able to contact relatively easily, and a discussion was occurring. This discussion was over the details of the book and who previously owned it. The details of that's what she did to the wardrobe when someone tried to talk shit about it. You picked the perfect fucking time, mate. Wanker. So, I'm just picturing an 80-year-old granny now. Hold on, dearie. Anyway. I'm gonna have to close that window. Ah!
So good. So
Please
good.
hold for chainsaw.
Oh.
Chainsaw.
Did I stutter?
Nope.
So, loud bastard. The
Oh, a car wheel.
Sorry.
There you go.
Carry on, Des. This is going well.
I run a professional stream, ladies and gentlemen.
No, you don't.
No, we don't. Nowhere does
This is
it.
Blue's
Nowhere
channel.
do we ever claim to be professional.
This isn't water.
See, like, so you say that, and then I look at Das, I'm like, he actually does look professional right now. Like, he definitely
I'm
looks
in my
quite-
pajamas.
Yeah, then that's not a shirt.
I thought it was
a
a
work
shirt.
shirt.
I thought that was a shirt, just unbuttoned. I'm gonna
We
be
need
honest.
carry on doing recap. Or this is okay.
Carry on.
So, this was a tome belonging to one Gustav Burke, a actual antagonist to the party from Storm King Thunder days, and the person who was responsible for creating several of the monstrosities all around Faerun, one of which the party has encountered multiple times, the augmented lycanthrope Gregor. It was emphasized that the book being out of someone's hands and not being destroyed is a bad thing, but no guilt or blame was thrown at Posey's feet. It is believed that this was an action by the lady in pink, potentially as a sort of threat, which apparently worked. And the session ended with the party getting on the back of their giant flying whale. I didn't stutter. And along with the brother of Kika, Kaerk, who had been recovering in Port Last after being fucking shot, make their way back to Neverwinter. They land on the outskirts of the city, where there are, and you can see from the distance even as you approach, there is scaffolding around multiple houses, and there are a lot of activity on the inside of the city. It's definitely not a quiet place right now. It is loud. There are people all about either working on something or doing something, because in the time you've been gone, the city has been doing its best to rebuild. The walls themselves have, in several points, been cracked or broken, and those have also been worked on or have been temporarily patched up with wood or otherwise sorts of materials. You guys land down, and do you dismiss the whale?
Yeah. I think that's probably smart, right?
Yeah.
Much
Out
like
of character.
dismounting from a mount in Final Fantasy, you get off the whale and I'm gonna just
Demonstrate.
whale go one.
Oh right, I need to make it so that the book's not in my inventory anymore.
Gotta remove
Yay!
it. Gotta remove
My plot
it.
device now, fucker.
I was like, oh yeah, I need to take it out of my inventory. Carry on.
Suffer. So, you guys arrived on the outside. It is quickly discerned that among you is Wittick, Kika, and a few others who are known. And this is definitely not the weirdest way you guys have arrived in Neverwinter in your past.
Mm-hmm.
And you are allowed in. Where do you guys go?
I guess we'll head to the keep to report it.
I was gonna say, where are we? Who were meant to take these to?
Well, legacy.
We?
Oh yeah, right. Right. Yep.
I mean,
Do we know
sure,
where she
cool.
is?
Well, the best place to go is the keep. It's like the
Marvelous room.
first place to check. If she's not there, then they may know where she is.
True. Okay, let's go.
Wow, Curls, what a gif.
Not the one I wanted.
Kels
Why
can,
fuck is it a
Kels
good
can
one?
never find the gift she wants.
No. It's a running trend at this point. It's a theme. But
So,
yep. Okay, let's go.
you begin making your way to the keep. A lot of the streets, you can tell, the primary ones have been cleared. And the side ones, which weren't as important, tend to have a lot more of the debris left in them, waiting to be removed or cleared away as you guys make on. It's clear that the idea was to clear out from gates and out and get that material taken away and repair what's there. So, at present, you do notice that there are a large contingency of dwarves amongst this, but not people who seem to be out of sorts from the events, but more people who most likely are from the nearby Gonky Grim. And an effort is being made to repair. So you continue your way. Is there anyone who's looking out for anything in particular, or are you guys just going to make your way straight on?
What I will say is that Lo is acting awkward with himself in full whatever. But he will also be keeping an eye out for you know who. And you know who.
Yeah, I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for broader anyone who seems to be following us.
You can make a perception check. Both of you actually make one. And what is Runara saying?
When we, I'm not saying anything. When we enter Neverwinter, I'm going to cast Locate Object on definitely not the Book of Evil Darkness. Just at the back of the group, just
You cast a
quietly to
ping.
myself.
I'll say for the sake of ease, you go through your 10 minutes on it?
No, it's just it's just an action cast.
No,
It's-
but 10 minutes of the effect.
Oh, that's definitely the wrong spell. Why is it? Oh, wait,
It's looking
no.
object.
Oh no, my chat scrolled and it showed a different spell. That's fine.
It lasts a minute. It lasts for 10 minutes.
I've not got myself selected, but yes, that is the right roll. Unfortunately, it's unfortunately very in character.
No ping on the book, no ping on any pinks, and nobody's following you. Time of your lives, kids. So you make your way towards the key.
Mhm.
I'm surprised how quickly it gets you out. Fuck. So, arriving towards the keep, you can see that the courtyard that was outside of it, which more or less became a crater, is still that, a crater. from the devastation of the explosions that were set off, which preluded the Gith aerial assault. Even now, as you're around it, the smoke is still billowing off of it at points. There's still. It's people who are around it just feel like they seem as if they're not interacting as much, they're quiet, like it's a thing almost to them. No one's interacting and trying to avoid going around it. It's left a mark on the city. You guys make your way around it yourselves towards the keep. Saw you, girls. Fucking saw you.
I didn't want to unmute, but I still did
I'll
it.
take
Yes.
I'll take the other book too. Fucking. Then I'll take your rings. Take your face after that.
Might as well just go straight to option B there, surely. At a certain point.
So, with those among you who are there, symbols and proof of who you are is presented, and you guys are let into the keep. And it is, the only way to describe it is as if the keep itself is more or less just, each floor is set out in a specific way. It's more or less just like almost 16 by 16 in regards to boxes of spaces in corridors, with rooms in the center as each one, just across and up. And the thing about it is that at present a large portion of the keep is gone due to the detonation, and you guys make up towards one of the higher levels. Is this going to be Matthew Mercer describing Not Noon with you two fuckers, where he can't say the word noon?
Sorry. Carry on.
Kill you both. But that'll just mean you won. So, you get in, and after a while, you're just walking down, essentially just at the highest point of the keep. There's just a long corridor with tapestries down the sides of it, several of which have none of which have really been damaged due to the fact that the side of the building they're on the far side from it that would look out towards the sea. And you can already hear commotion from within what you would know as basically the war room, more or less, and several raised voices. But there are guards posted outside who seem unfazed, and these are again similar to what you may have seen previously. Sildar's elite guard, who wear these essentially kind of a death mask style, and all of them have a great sword to them with a curved blade. At the end of it, so they one of them just like extends a hand up to have you all wait, and as the conversation inside is reaching a peak, the doors swing open from the inside. They swing into their room, and storming out, you can see three noblemen who are in bright, colorful robes, and one of which is just, whilst one of them is wearing this simple, quote unquote, fur-lined neck piece, kind of all the way around the top of it and all the way down the front, robe of just like a heavy jacket almost. The other one is wearing what could be definitely be more described as like if a farmer got told to dress nicely is the only way to really say it. But one of them is just in bright purple, 4 rings on each finger, just ridiculous amounts of chains and everything else, storming out with what could only be described as a hat which has the most ridiculous fucking plume coming off the top of it. And they're all just like storming out and leaving. The only one that seems unfazed is the individual who's wearing the heavy browns and like almost has like the kind of overall look to him, who basically does just look like a farmer who's been dressed up. And inside, you can see at the front of the table with one hand resting, with his head resting against two fingers on his temple, grayed, his eyes are sunken back, and he looks fatigued, is Sildar. Next to him, standing, is Legacy, who, except for the fact that she is already a deep red, currently looks like a bright beet red in regards to a risen temper, shall we say. And so it just like extends up a hand and just like motions for you guys to come in, not of a less cordial way, but more of just a fatigued, just come on in. He just begins like, and the chair he's in, whilst most of the chairs around are these like massive, lavish, kind of like heavily leathered and studded in, his one is just a simple wooden one that he sits at the front of the table with, and he just like turns it small enough for him to just like lift and turn. Well, hello there, everyone. How have all of you been?
Albeit in, we have better news maybe, depending on what all that was about.
That was financing the repairs of Neverwinter, which Yatar does not want to do, and Mirabar seems to think is a ridiculous notion. Golden Fields, at the very least, are willing to provide surplus to us for the coming months, which is greatly appreciated if they can get it up the road safely. But I'm trying to repair a city, and good faith with Gauntlgrim's only going so far, and our coffers are going dry. So, yeah, it's the less interesting parts of leading, shall we say. The paperwork, the yes men who got hired in by other yes men who don't like that I don't like yes men. So, you say you have better news than that. Well, please do tell.
I pull the spire out of the bag.
Okay, well, that's number 2 then. That's a relief. And as he's talking, kind of just like scratching dirt out the side of his eye, wrinkles are just like kind of matting up in a corner as he does. Legacy steps forward, and it's like generations apart. It looks like a 20-year-old is dating a 70-year-old right now, in the equivalent of it, even though she's probably several hundred years older than him. She steps forward, the horns are down as well, and you can just see there's like spiked studs at the end, like going up like a line at the back of each side of her. She says, well, I will take that, and I'm going to put that away into an isolation with the other one. And she doesn't pick it up, but she motions a hand and it gets lifted out from the grip and towards her. Was there anything from this one similar to previous?
Yeah.
Please do tell me if you don't mind, because I need to know.
Excuse me while I do what Curls is doing.
It's digital version of turning pages.
Ah, I know which system this is because I named the document Visions and Ethics.
Yep, that was that one.
That was that.
What, do you happen to have the number?
29.
Oh shit, I'm looking at it. Yeah, so this one is, I'm saying this out of character because I would not be talking right now. This one we worked out is evocation, right?
Yes, correct.
See, this one's evocation, man.
It's the evocation.
Yes, it gives you visions, much like the last one does.
It was stuck
Yeah,
in a
because
burr.
didn't I...
I don't know if in character we want to say this. I guess it will depend on people who are talking, but this is the one where we were all like, let's just work out who has visions and who doesn't.
let's
So we
all
essentially
vote it.
passed it around the table and saw who had weird visions and who didn't.
Legacy kind of just like takes off the wide brim hat that she had on, the hair falling down it to the back, and just leads it down onto the table. What visions did you have?
I saw Puff again.
Puff?
Hmm.
How was he? Were you able to speak with him?
No.
She looks contemplative towards the one that's floating above her hand for a moment, and looks down towards Sildar, who just lowers his head. If it helps you find them, just don't do it for. And before he even finishes saying, it's dropped and catched in her hand, and she.
On brand.
I'm not sure with these if they are affecting any of you, but I'd be worried about overexposure.
How so?
And there's a moment as like he's already looking as if he's regretting having said yes to her, as after like a moment passes, shook, she comes back. The bitch. That. No. Bitch, no, 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 no. She did not make my boys. And you can just see from like the slit yellow eyes that she has, there's just an intensity, like it's 1,000-yard stare that could burn a hole.
I turn invisible.
Makes no difference to her, but go ahead.
It's the principle of the thing.
Congratulations, the old king can't see you. Kika, Widdick, make perception checks.
Okay.
Try to see if
I hate
Only a 10. Not great.
it.
What's wrong, girls?
I
care.
hate
You
out of
care about
character.
this
I
character.
hate that I maybe know a little bit of what she just saw, and I can imagine the emotional response she's having to it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Looking at my notes, yeah.
you're looking at mine, yeah.
Widdick, are you rolling? Or would you be able to roll? Would you like me to roll for you?
might have to.
Actually, your passive's 15, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say that you notice that her canines are longer,
Ooh.
and her hands, which were often a lot more smoother and more like red porcelain, are slightly more. There's like more harder stumps along, like say between bumps, like between the joints on the fingers, and the nails are slightly pointed forward more. Like you can just like you don't see initially that they're sharper, but it's more that she just drags across the table in a moment of just contemplation, and you can just hear the wood being curled back up. You need to find the rest.
I'm trying.
I know you are. Sildar, nothing else can matter right now. With Nezanar and Gregor, with anything we have to find everyone. We have to send people to find everyone. Something is very, very wrong, and things don't make sense, and I don't like that they don't make sense. And Sildar turns towards the table and taps 2 points on the table, and a portion of it just hear tunk and all the paperwork that was there on the table drops down and gets covered over by a sheet, and the whole thing flips. And there is a map on it of all the points where the spires were originally marked on the map,
Mm-hmm.
which I believe you guys are currently looking at.
Yes.
Zola begins looking through it. You dropped him up by Carhold for. I have questions about Carhold that can wait until after I just look through this. So, you dropped him at the Carhold. Him and Harshnag are by Mirawar, which had one. We can get no help off of them, so we need to send them to get there. I think Gregor may still be in the wood. We might be able to send him to the one at Waterdeep. We'll just make him go mad. Maybe if we contact the lady, I think she might have already sent people to examine or look for it. So the one at Waterdeep might be found. Tribor is one. I think we can send people to. One by Zelbros. And you can just see he's like leaning himself more and more over the table. It's putting. You can tell that this is just a strain on it, even on himself. Just like trying to, in the moment, think of everything he needs to do with this. There's one that's. I don't know who we can trust sending there. There's one that's down by the south as well. Oh, I hope it hasn't been spotted. Can you tell me what it was like around the one that you encountered?
Not great. It had gotten stuck in like a bear thing.
Oh, that sounds
Bear-like spirit.
That's even worse. That's worse than what she said.
Yeah, we think we found where it like first was, and we know that because it was basically a crater.
Should we mention the amount of empty gift vessels as well that probably came looking for it and got wiped out?
I'm almost relieved that had happened. But
So they're definitely close to looking for them or finding them as well.
that means that some of these might already be gone. Waterdeep. You're invisible.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be behind Runara, and I'm gonna become invisible. And I'm literally gonna like poke out from behind Runara, very sheepishly. Even though I'm taller than Runara.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a considerable amount.
It's fine. And just be like, when you get all of them, then what?
That's a fair question. The Fae, she believes that they were used to anchor the amount of points around Faerun where they attacked at once. She believes that if we can get them all, or some of them, the reverse can be applied and we could try to rescue people.
Well, not just that, I mean, grabbing all of them means they don't have
That too, and from what you described from the one of evocation, then the one of transmutation's already been located. And Legacy just pipes up in. I'm going to get the people in Everland to make their way up to Mirabar. I'll get the Harpers in on that one. I'll see what we can do. We're going to need to send. Nesnar's already going to be close to them, so we might get them to try and drop him in Tribor or Yatar, because if we don't get the one that's by there,
We could go get that one.
would you be able to get there quickly enough?
Yeah, we haven't.
Yeah, we have a.
Would it,
Got a
We have
whale now.
transportation now.
would it,
That's,
would
that's
it get
faster.
given a gift? It's a little bit like Huru. It's a little bit slower, but it's still pretty
Another
quick.
one.
This one's a whale. So it's a little. He's still very big. He's a little bit slower than Huru, but he's still very, very fast.
Long story short, we saved Merfolk.
Luba, don't
I
overwhelm
was
him.
like, give it a thing.
You'd like Huru. Hopefully, you can meet him someday.
Don't know if your mother brought Huro with her to Neverwinter or not. Huro might still be in Phandalin.
Huru's in Phandalin?
If Huro's in Phandalin, that could be used. Huro could immediately help out a lot of people getting around a lot quicker. That's what you need to do.
We're going to Phandalin.
Go to Varys' house in Phandalin, the mansion that he's been basically living in. I believe he has a manservant, more or less.
Is that safe?
I assure you, the person who lives there, it's foolproof, to put it gently.
From...
The fact that he has an ogre manservant.
Please tell me that Varys just turned the mansion in Phandalin into a Final Fantasy dungeon. Please. Like, it's
dear,
just-
but-
We're going to
it's
Hawk
just
Manor,
a wizard
everybody!
square full of
The best
nonsense.
music. The best music.
Look,
Very
all I'm
long
saying is, if someone wanted to try and take that place,
Because of course he would.
good luck. You mean the wizard who had multiple people hunting him down constantly? Might be a
Yeah,
little
of
paranoid.
course he would.
If he's there, you could get Huru and bring Huru to us, or bring it to someone else, like a Gregor. No, not Gregor. Gregor can just run without falling over. Nezanar, because he can get a few of his shadows in, and they can all move together.
Mm-hmm. I hope he's there.
I don't remember her bringing her is the thing, and I know that that's where you last stopped, so I think maybe.
Maybe.
Um,
She does tend to carry him with her all the time, but maybe.
I'm not sure. It's
mean,
worth
if-
checking anyway.
we're
There might be a
gonna-
few
if we're
things that
gonna
your
go
family
next
didn't
to-
bring.
It won't take too long on Matrozen.
That's a name. Okay, so you can make your way to there. I'll get. I think Nezanar has some way to get to Yatar handily, so I'm going to see if he can. Because if he can rendezvous with you there already, he can give anyone who's in there a headache and start bonking heads together in order to try and find it. Because there's no way that has not already been taken and try to be sold. Because it's next to Yatar. I can only hope the people of Tribor found it first. Actually, you know what? I hope they didn't,
Well,
for their own sake.
if Nesna's gonna go to Yatar, then what if we fly to Phandalin, we hopefully find Huru, then we could go to Tribor and ask Tribor, and if it's not there, then we can like meet in the middle, because that's where it is on the map, it's in the middle.
Yes, but it could already have been picked up by someone and taken.
It could, but it might not have been.
Potentially not. I'll drop him in Yatar because I just like, because considering the pop as fuck was ruining my day as it was, don't mind dropping him down over them. He can give them a headache for a bit and go, oh, how much of this is legal? And on the meantime, he can make his way to you then. You can give him Huru's feather for a while, and he and a few people can make it way. And you may as well check the house anyway, because I think there's probably going to be a few things there that might be worth seeing if they're there or not. Magic items from your family, I don't know.
Oh,
So-
movement. Sounds good.
Essentially a minor pincer movement. That's got Yatar sorted in Tribor, so that's good. The lady probably has something. Oh, if that other motherfucker found it first near Waterdeep and had his minions keep it, I'm going to lose my mind. He shouldn't have. He shouldn't have. He never likes coming above the surface. Fucks with his goldfish. Okay. So I'm going to check
Did I
in.
know that?
Mm-hmm.
It's just click for kills.
So I'll send you
I'm
to.
trying to hold about 85 different places in my head right now.
So I'll send you to Phandalin first to check out Valorant's house. Don't know many of his trips or traps, so good luck if he has them. If they're not set or they are set, I don't know.
That's why I asked if it was safe.
It's probably safe. I mean, you can just walk around looking at magic all day, and that's the one thing he'd set up. Aside from the obvious banana peel he leaves underneath the front door every time, but that's besides the point.
So this is the same Baris Valorant Golden Samurai Wizard.
Yeah.
The Blade Singer, yes.
Okay.
Who?
Okay.
The Archmage's Invocatus, because he took the job from me.
You remember the statue in Thunder Tree? The one with the sword?
More or less her uncle.
The other one.
That doesn't help.
Open the book. I'll
Not a
open the
family
book.
member.
Oh, no, I remember.
I can
Statue.
point.
No,
Okay,
no.
I can
it's fine.
point.
Oh,
He's the gay uncle. Wait, no, that doesn't help with Roman. Never mind.
That doesn't help either.
I'm sorry.
Look at his outfit and tell me he does not look.
Cothras is still out there. You don't know.
Excuse me, I designed that outfit.
Yeah, and he gay
Yeah.
as fuck, honey.
Also, excuse me, but that's my character.
No, the other
And-
gay.
Anymore.
None of
I'm
this
teasing.
filtering helps. Let's carry on.
Please understand, Legacy is roasting her friends. I was about to say former, they're still
Oh yeah, I know.
maybe.
This is
Oh,
a classic
corn,
Southern
what?
roast.
Carry on, please.
I'm just
So-
giggling over the fact that, yes, his knitted incarnation is looking over this with just a very...
Every move you make.
He's gonna be deeply amused by every trap we trigger in his house.
So if you can make your way to there to look at. You watch as she snaps her fingers, and you hear a detonation. It explodes. It's a loud point about 40 feet away from you at the end of the hall, or at the end of the room, away from everyone. The doors get flung open. And when the fire, smoke, and dust fade away, there is a single figure standing at the end of the room. Very Gith. Entirely unfazed by the 9th level fireball just thrown at their face.
You just hear rattling as Kika's like clung to the side of Wittick, shaking.
And we're going to take a break.
Hey.
Good. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool, cool, cool.
No doubt.
We'll be right back, guys.
Doom, 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 doom.
Wah. You're fine. Give everyone else a time.
Hello, we're back.
Welcome back. So, the dust is settling as the fireball detonates in the corner, and you can just see the finger elongated from it. Just you can almost hear bone snapping as the claws extend, her horns spike further, and the wings erupt out. And you can just hear the sound of the dragging hooves across the ground as she just steps closer and closer. There is the yellow eyes with the black slit just peering towards that point. And you just hear a small clap of hands as the figure steps away from the smoke. Bravo, it was an impressive display. You can see a female Gith. She's young. Probably what could be ascertained to maybe like someone's mid-20s or early 30s. She's wearing this dress that just like from the top of the neck at a point where the cloak is also tied across to the back. Tops of her clothes are pinned too, that go down over the chest and down into a full dress. Her shoulders have pinned a cloak, and you can see the center pin and two pins perfectly a distance away from each other, just at like the clavicle points on the shoulder, are a pair of eyes there, and one at the center. So one eye here, and here. She has a black circlet on her head with a single pearl at its center that rises up to a high red diamond almost point at the top. That's one way to greet our guests. And you can just see for a moment they're just uncontainable, just snarling in a language anyone here who does not speak devil, or the devil language, the language
Infernal.
of the abyss, infernal, cannot understand. It sounds like 20 curses overlapped until Sildar raises up a hand. It's clear what you want to do isn't going to work. And the figure stepping forward, you can see, is wearing heels that go up maybe 5 inches on each side. Well, at least the boy is smart, so that's at least a bonus. So, greetings to all of you. I'm here on the behalf of Lakith, the Lich Queen of the Gith, Master of Tuanath, the Dragonbinder, the Flare. Many other lovely titles are included there. Who I am is unimportant. I am just a messenger. And you've already broken the rule of don't shoot the messenger. You didn't even let me get the message out. She just looks along your sortly little party.
I turn invisible.
Still acknowledges you as hand
I
passes
know.
over. You disappear to all your friends. Is that to mimic what you're doing to Widdick right now? Because that cat wants out. Free me, mother!
God, that's not the computer.
I understand you have a spire or two that don't belong to you. You would be pleased to know that my most gracious lady is offering a bargain. We are aware that there are multiple people who you might have values at one point in your life for some reason in her possession. If you are to give us those 2 spires, my lady will be most gracious in her esteemed and infinite wisdom, to release 2 of them back to you. And you can just see, like, essentially, like, there was more like a darkness, more emanating. All the candle lights were more or less muffled at the corners as Legacy glares out towards her. You are in no position to bargain with anyone who I care about. I don't. And the figure raises up a finger and interrupts her. I think you'll find I'm in the perfect position to bargain with you. Because do bear in mind, they are in my lady's care. And if something were to happen to me, like a messy fireball was thrown out, do you believe that would have actually harmed me? Or do you believe my lady would not have perhaps put an enchantment on me, so that anything that hit me, hit them?
Info check.
Make an insight check.
Also, where's my brand of castigation right now?
Oh, okay.
You casted your brand of castigation
On the general when they attacked us, the mage.
and that doesn't go
mage-
away until you apply it on a
No.
new one.
It doesn't.
And I have
Same direction.
it's up. Still fuck. Okay.
Still up.
Thought I was on
Runara,
something. Okay, don't say that.
whilst you in your own practicality say that doesn't make sense, why would they ever try to bargain with something that they know is going to get killed? The attitude of her, the persona of her, and that smirk little smile at the corner of her face, it's hard to say whether or not she isn't telling the truth. But the bluff alone is enough to make Legacy hesitate. So, all of you, good little adventurers who have given plenty of people who really should have been able to dispose of you a headache, have items that belong to them, and we wish them retrieved. And in exchange, that which belongs to her will be given back to you. A very fair exchange. Sildar leans forward. Who? Who are you offering? Well, at least the old man has some sense still. Clearly he has the brains in this relationship, unlike the demon spawn next to him. So, and as she's about to speak, straight through the chest, there is just a green beam that goes through her and disintegrates the wall behind her. Well, now that was very rude. I thought queens were meant to be regal and dignified. Surely even Asmodeus knows how to make their daughter behave. What are you, some demogorgon bitch? And in this moment, where Legacy just seems like she's fit to burst, all the darkness fades and there's just a bright light in the room over everything. And Legacy stands and can't move. Thank you, Mother. Now then, once she's disposed of, now we can actually talk reasonably. And she will be released when I leave, if my mother wishes. So, you want to know who I will give back? Well, you have a choice between many of the people we have earned in our time. I'm sure from the Hourglass Mother could pluck 1 or 2 of them if you so chose. Or one of the princes from many of the planes that we have plucked away. But of course, that's all you're getting. I am under a rule that I'm not going to tell you further. She will give you them, and they will be people you know. We're not going to send you a prince from the water plane you've never met before, for example. We're not unreasonable.
But we don't get to choose who.
You could choose between heroes and princes.
Just a second, sorry. Did we get who her mother was? The
Okay.
one she keeps referring to as mother?
Blackett.
Blackett.
Okay.
Blacketh.
Right.
I also do apologize for my outburst at your wife. You clearly married down. But besides that, if you'd want, we could return your daughter. And maybe one of your sons. You can just see Sildar's just hand over the palm right now, just not biting into the knuckle, but covering his face and thinking. But you're not guaranteeing that. You're only saying that that might be an option. You're quite right. It is only an option. It'll be an odds situation to see who gets picked. And just see as he just. I do not like this situation. He looks towards the group that is present. The heroes might be able to help a lot more than anything else would. But I want to see my sons. And I don't even know if I'm going to get them.
If I may interject.
They both seem to. He more waves an exhausted palm, and she kind of does a deep bow as if to give you a floor space. By all means, little Lichling, speak.
Interesting news on my part, but that aside.
Well, it was a piss poor attempt, but attempt was made nonetheless.
What you are proposing is a trade. You imply these objects that we have in our possession are taken. You have admitted that the persons under your hostage are, well, just that, hostages.
She like points a finger and you can just see Legacy in that frozen position, falls over and slumps over onto the side. Quite right, but you're implying that we're not trying to be civil at this point, now that the cards are in our favor. I'm not pretending you're not getting fucked over, you absolutely are. But I'm giving you a choice. Or I'm going to send someone to take those two. I don't even think your mad dog would be able to handle them.
Very good. We are to understand these objects are indeed of your ownership and not something that you've decided belongs to you and yours.
You seem to be implying that I require order or law or reasons by your plane's standards to claim possession to any of these. Your plane has a fun little way of working, but a lot of other people work differently to you. They are ours. They were crafted by ours. We have taken what is ours. It belongs to us. They all belong to us now. My mother just doesn't have as much need for some of them, and we know they have a sentimental value. So we could give them to you. Or I just snap my fingers and someone's going to come and take them.
If you were going to do that, you'd done that a long time ago. If you thought it was so easy to kill us and take these, then you would have. I think I think you and your people are scared of us.
You?
You've tried and you've failed many times.
You have to send the young ones out on practice, and that's all they've been doing against you. We've lost no one. They've all learned how you fight. They've all learned how your people fight. Do you think they are not improving at this very moment? And if I am correct, haven't you gotten a lot of help to beat my people over and over again? What happens when there's no giants, or no magical people to assist you, or giant dogs?
Well, then we'll be able to show you what we're really made of.
Quite right. So what happens when I do kill your big dog? And you can just hear from outside, almost like a sound of suction. And from out over the bay, you can see a portal in the heavens open. And a single thing begins dropping. And you can just hear a whistling as it hits the water. When it decides to wake up in about 10 days or so, it'll kill everything in this city. Consider that a courtesy to get your people out. But if your people are between it and the spires, well, that's very unfortunate.
Threatening each other aside,
Oh, there's been no threats on your part. It's been laughable. You just simply attempt to call my bluffs, which really haven't worked for her, and it definitely won't work for you.
Your Highness, I say, addressing. In the end, you have sent us for these objects, and you have the authority in this discussion, and you have objects you may, and persons you may wish to trade for this.
Oh, and
Although
I
if
think
it
it's a fair point to say that will go away if you give me the spires you have. Miraculously, hundreds of people won't have to die.
However, if I may be so bold as to remind you of one part of this discussion, which is often forgotten on the side of these kind of messages.
Yes, get to the point.
By admitting themselves that they are not bound by any rule of law, such a bargain is pointless, as we have no guarantee that we'll get anything for doing what we agree to, as they
You
are
have
not
been
bound by our rules.
promised two things.
You're
I have made a
interrupting a
claim.
lot.
Of course I am. Little
Well,
one.
it's kind of fucking rude for a goddamn messenger, bud.
Considering that you want to have a bargain, it's kind of hard if the bargainers aren't able to bargain.
Yeah.
But you're not really being that diplomatic if you're thinking about it.
It
You wanna
sounds,
come on
it's,
an equal-
honestly, it
In
sounds,
my
well,
defense, I have been assaulted twice by your queen.
in our defense, you're very bad at your job.
It is my first day.
Well,
Enough of
Besides
Sure.
that, give a bad review on Yelp. So,
I've had enough of bargains. Do what you will, and I'll turn and walk out.
it is the king's decision in the end. But unless you want to bring in an equally powerful Edamentary to ensure the bargain is held, I would suggest their promises are worth less than dirt, if you'll forgive the turn of phrase.
You just see all this is happening. Renara's walking out, and Silder's just going. Right now, you have a blade pointed at my city. I know better than to, despite the lack of diplomacy on display, I have to be aware of the fact that you could kill a lot of my people. You have before, and I'm worried you might consider it again. And yes, Posey.
Where is the spire that we during this conversation?
In
That's a great
Legacy's hand,
question.
right?
Legacy picked it
Is
up.
it still on the table?
It's not on the table. It's in Legacy's frozen grip.
How far is Legacy?
From you, probably about 20 foot. From the person, about 10.
At any point in this conversation, did she walk past me?
No, she hasn't walked past you yet. She's pretty much stayed on one side of the table. Legacy's kind of more or less bridged towards you guys. She's not on the table or at the table. She's like closer to you guys, like moving over the table. Kind
And
of thing.
I'm invisible, and if I like move 5 feet, like it seems like they're tracking my movement.
If you want to try and sneak past them, or try to sneak,
No, it just like as I'm kind
she's more or less like
shifting, she still seems to be able to perceive me.
she's more or less like trying to dodge or like keep a track on all of you right now because
Yeah,
there's a lot
and
of
she still keeps making like registering that I'm there, even though I'm
when
invisible.
you're invisible. Yes,
Okay.
like if you're invisible in the open, but if you're invisible and hiding, you're hiding. You know, she's not noticing you past someone.
I'm in the bag.
Also, do I get out of the room?
Yeah.
I'll walk out the room 15 foot. I'm going to cast Sending.
Wonder if you and I are thinking the same thing.
What are you thinking?
To a GIF friend of ours, Hazar, I think his name was.
This is why you made me go digging for that.
And I'm going to say...
To Hussar, yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, GIF in Neverwinter Keep, we could desperately use your help. And there's it.
You get a reply 6 seconds later. Stall them as long as you can.
Okay. I'll walk back. Actually,
So I pose. What were you thinking now? Just
I'll back in.
because, yeah. As you begin, you're casting this as she's Posey. Curls is thinking. Posey is doing.
yeah. Tell me when I'm back in, and I'll.
Yeah. Did you did like go out a few bits? Wait.
Yeah, that would have been like
cast.
12, 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's all good.
Oh,
Your Highness, I appreciate that we are in a perilous situation, but if we are to make such bargains, I suggest we put some serious weight behind them. I am sure there are people with contacts in more law-abiding planes that can enforce any promise.
Be very careful who you're talking about right now. You do not speak of certain people lightly.
I certainly do not. I would not invoke their aid if our lives were not all on the line.
As if you could invoke their aid.
Well, we're full of surprises.
That remains to be seen. First of all, we would have to nut out the exact details of such a contract before even bringing it to a different authority. But otherwise, if you do not wish to discuss this in proper details,
I've already
giving
put
me
out the
this-
claims.
put out the
Surely
claim. Sorry. You put out the claim, but I feel it would all be better if it was, written down, word for word, contract out. That way we can hold you to something.
Yeah. Legally
mind
abiding.
you, this isn't metagaming. This is
Legally
the direction
abiding.
King was going to begin with. It wasn't. This isn't
Yeah.
to stall
Oh, yeah.
for time.
Yeah,
This is
no.
just
This is King's
No, we
entire
know King
character.
well enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
King has done this to
King-
almost every
if-
person we've met.
If the line of Netherwinter decides to go down this path, King is going to recommend that we make this insured to stick, because otherwise it's worthless.
Posey, were you about to say something?
Yes, unfortunately.
Very
I
quickly
kn-
dashed to get my second
I
message.
did. I
Okay.
seen
Yep.
it.
There's
You
a
guys-
lot happening behind. There's
You
so
can just
much
see there's a
happening.
moment of Sildar like perking his head up
Mhm.
for putting his hand back down. But no, Posey, you go ahead first.
That's smart. That's smart, okay, what you've just done. Okay. I'm so sorry. I need you to explain where everyone is in this room. So well, assuming the door's behind us, table's in front, Sildar's on the other side of the table.
So essentially, how it is you're all on one side of the table. More or less, the table is literally 40 foot long. There's the throne that is to the far side on the right from you guys. Everything that has happened, her appearance has been on the far left. That is about 60 feet away. That's where Legacy detonated the fireball. She's approached about 20 foot. So she's about 40 feet away from you guys. Legacy has stormed over towards her, but is between you guys right now. 20 foot to 20 foot.
So, if I went under the table, could I get to Legacy?
You could certainly try.
And she's holding the spire.
Legacy's currently holding the spire and more or less fell away from the table holding it. More like in the left hand fell that way. Which is weird because
But
of the
she's
wings.
not
It's
frozen
kind of,
anymore.
she is frozen, but it's all kind of just like slumped on top of it. Like her hands and her wings are all covered.
While
Her wings are currently covering her hand, more or less, as she's lying there.
so sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Do
take
what
your time.
Posey would do.
Take your time.
Yep.
I'm gonna go under the table.
Mm-hmm.
Make a stealth check to try and go under the table.
And if I think that she tracked this movement, I'll stop whatever the fuck I was gonna do.
Okay.
Lucky.
Gonna use luck? Go ahead. Now is the time to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes!
Holy shit!
20.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
So,
God.
Posey, you kind of just tap your hand against like the back of Wittick's elbow. And as you do, Wittick and King, essentially, if you're looking at the room right now, she's looking towards you guys like this. Wittick and King are over here. The table and Silda are on this side. You have tapped him on the elbow. He stepped towards this large, big figure, whilst King is also there making demands unaware. And as they're doing that, you go and Sildar sees you, and more or less there's a moment where like he's flown out the cape, as if like, you know, turning it off the side of the table, which just covers you that little bit, and you duck under the table. And you dive in, and you're under the table. And Legacy is still frozen, but it's not like, you know, petrified, ding, 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 like comedy
no.
way. Her body is like slumped down
Yep.
to the ground. So whilst you're doing that,
Yeah. I'm trying to
Um,
get to the spire. That's what I'm doing.
we're going to. I'll give it a little bit just while I go out to other people for a second, if you don't mind, because I'm just going to.
There's so much happening. Yeah, juggle it.
I'm juggling, kids. So, Wittick and King, were you saying something?
Because, yeah, because, I mean, really, this whole thing just seems very, just kind of like, you know, going by trust of word, which, that's good and all, but most people, especially most of us on this plane, like to have contracts that really nail everything down. We know
No
what...
wonder the hells love you all. Sildar leans forward.
Yes.
As the king of the realm, it would be important for me to make sure that I handle everything in as proper a manner as possible. I know what you've claimed, and you've made a fair point on the fact that you definitely do possess power to dispose of us if you wish, and you're trying to be diplomatic, and amongst my people, I appreciate it. But it would be foolish to not sign this down. The exact wording you have, it will not be an individual of our choosing. It will be a random person of two of the types you've chosen, a prince and a hero. I will get a scribe in now to write that down. And he just like motions, and the guards don't move, but they shout out for someone else. And she just folds her hands and waits. 9 minutes pass. Scribe
means-
comes
King,
in.
King is,
Oh,
King
no,
is at
I
the
haven't
table.
have time.
King is at the table. It's like roll the shoulder. It's like, all right, bust out the lawyer. Here we go.
This is
In
King.
that 9
Favorite
minutes,
terrain.
Yep.
in 9 minutes, does anyone do something?
I mean, yeah.
I'll be back in the room by this point.
Yeah,
I'll
Runar.
just come back and just stand
Yeah,
at the
you'll
back of
have
the room
come
by the
back.
door.
I have a story thing, not anything significant to what's actually happened. But it might be. I'm going to throw it out to see.
Say it. Just say it. Just say it. Go ahead, honey.
Lo is trying to do the actor thing, and he's trying to accommodate it for it very, very well. But he's sort of holding fist back, like. But it is essentially doing the equivalent of this.
He's just basically like, I'm putting all my tension here so that no one can see it on my face. It's in my hand. That's behind my back. I know what you mean. That's all
But
good.
because he's also not used to the claws, they're digging into the
Dear
skin
Christ, the
inside
amount of
it.
gifts you will put in.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, out
That's
of
how we
character.
express ourselves.
I honestly wanted to like when they were like, "Oh, you know, we don't deal with laws and stuff." I was about to go. Well, have you heard this little thing called finders keepers? You just kind of left them out there. They're ours now. Fuck you.
That's a law.
Like,
Just
Hey,
like
we're
to
dealing
say-
with an inflated
That's a
conflict.
Fey
I mean,
law. That's a
all-
Fey law that Faerun took. Let's be
All,
real.
all I'm saying is, I feel like you know, if he starts going the lawyer route, I feel like we need some compensation. Like one of them was literally embedded in a giant fucking like
Oh, they're
thunder
basically suing
bear.
for they're basically suing for peace at this point, so it's certain rules do not apply to the contract, but some certainly do, and you know, at least
Oh,
50%
she's
of
made-
the
And
pay.
King
I will
knows
say
them
this out
all.
of character. I will say this out of character. She's not fighting for peace.
No.
Not in the slightest.
Nope.
Well,
oh yeah.
I
no,
said
fuck it.
effectively suing for peace in that
Well,
this
I
is
mean,
basically a wartime
Sit down.
agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
So,
to. Oh, sorry, go on.
so normally a contract couldn't be taken under duress, but in times of war, there are laws for that and rules for that, etc., etc. At least
I will
50%
say
of the
this.
players agree with us on this.
I will say
That's
this
enough.
as a thing, Nemo. There are laws in our world that apply
Yes.
certain ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
Faerun might not have had enough time to install some of these,
Yeah.
and there's definitely some
This is
planes who might not give a tittle.
Yeah.
But things that get signed down on agreements between important people have power
Oh yes.
Oh,
for
yes.
a reason.
We know
And
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
get broken,
this.
it's a dada.
This group knows
And
that very well.
that's what King was originally saying. If we decide to go this path, because King was also happy for us to just say no, fuck you. But if we do decide to go down this path, we are going to make this the heaviest contract we can find.
The real question is
take
We're
though,
going to get some serious backing behind them.
the real question is though, do you think they have the Geneva Convention here? Like, I mean,
They do not. They nuked your front door. They don't have the
Yeah.
Geneva Convention.
We're standing in the
Yeah,
irradiation zone. I feel like there isn't a Geneva Convention.
No,
Either
what
way.
it is,
Sorry,
there
Curls.
is-
Everyone's interrupted Curls. Curls, go on.
okay.
Either way, I want it on the record. If I fuck this up, I'm so sorry, because this
If you
will
fuck this
ruin
up-
everything.
If you fuck this up, I love you still. If you don't fuck it up, it's play of the year.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I know what you're trying.
I was going
Girl,
to
yeah, I was
say
gonna
that
say. I
you
think I
could-
know what you're doing.
You
So.
couldn't use the Geneva.
Leave it. Leave it. Walk away.
You couldn't
Okay.
use that as an argument for what the Gith are doing because
This
they
is-
pretty much terminated it anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They blew up Geneva.
So
Right.
so what we're saying is, if we succeed, they're gonna invent the Neverwinter Convention.
Yes. This will be it.
Well,
Never
what
return
I was
forward.
going to say is, although there is certainly no Geneva Convention, there are certainly very strong conventions in this world
Vibes,
of
yeah.
contract.
Yep.
Yeah.
Short of the God of Chaos themselves, nobody touches a contract this serious, and
Yeah,
So-
we're gonna make the
See,
Neverwinter.
indeed.
a-
depending on who we invoke
Shall
as the
we?
leader.
As you
Shall we?
guys are discussing your Geneva Convention amongst you and doing your best,
I'm bringing up weight.
you hug the whale. Free action.
I need that right now.
It's a free action.
I'm trying. He can't fit it.
Oh,
Thank you,
Oh, you
thank
need the
you.
whale? Okay.
No!
Literally, like I summon Wailord in Misty's gym.
Oh, what's that, guys? You need a distraction? Okay.
Oh god. Okay.
Posing. You can hear a lot of talking above your head
So-
right now.
Yeah, hopefully I'm doing this while the conversation's still happening.
The conversation is still going.
I'm gonna try and get to Legacy.
She's not really standing in place. She's like walking back and forward, like hands.
Yeah. Good. Good. To left the dramatics, I will take at this point.
You found her, Narissa.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why I'm trying not to say it. I'm gonna try and take the spire from Legacy.
Okay. Make a stealth check because you are
Stealth or sleight of hand?
Bear in mind, Legacy's hand is not near the table. Legacy was about 5 foot from the table and fell away from it.
Yeah.
And it's in the middle of the room, so you have to.
I have to, like,
You're literally
reach
like
out and get
it's
it.
the equivalent of if you've ever seen the video where someone's like holding a box and there's a guy in a suit dancing as a bee behind him. It's like you're making her focus on the box whilst something else is happening
Reach
in
out and
her
grab it.
peripheral. So everyone here, you know Posy's like stepped away. Widdick, you're kind of aware of it. From you guys' angle, you know she's still in the room. And she's snuck away and maybe under the table. Potentially some of you, not Runara, who's only just come back in.
I've come in and I don't know
I'm
where
going
she
to
is, but
ask,
she's
what does the
invisible now.
party try to do to get her attention away from the
While
area
this conversation's happening.
whilst this is happening? What are you guys doing in particular?
I mean, all I can
Is-
picture
I
is
mean,
further debating this contract, like theoretically.
Yeah, I was gonna say. How about this? Because I myself, although being made of metal, when discussing contracts and whatnot, I'd rather not be standing. Shall we have a seat?
Make a persuasion check.
Fucking A!
Fucking go for it, kid. Fucking go for it.
24!
Oh, I suppose I will sit on your mundane chairs. And she just like flicks her
I
hand.
don't know if you should make that better or worse.
And the chair on the far side from Sildar, basically like the next most important chair in the room. And it is like a larger, more extravagant one because his is very simple. She sits down into it and picks up a bit of a feather that was there. Like, what disgusting bastard sat in this last? What kind of king are you? Clean your chairs. And she pulls herself in. Posey, make a stealth check with advantage.
Stealth or sleight of hand?
Stealth to get out there without her seeing you.
I mean, it's the same. With advantage?
With advantage.
I actually feel like I'm gonna vomit.
Oh no,
The
friend.
triple stealth roll, that's Al. Triple
Deep
crit.
breath. You're fine. This is a video. This is a game.
Yeah, 23.
Ooh.
Roll above a 5.
Yes.
Yes!
Don't take my curse from Oakheart last week.
Yeah.
Go, Posy, go.
Oh, no, don't worry. I was going to say
Posy,
something. Don't worry.
go.
Posey, you
Go.
get out. She's not looking at you. Its Legacy's got an iron grip on this thing.
Oh god, I know she can see me.
She would see you right now if her eyes weren't up at Sildar. You're here on her peripheral. She's not noticed you because you've literally done the moving so slow it's not noticed thing. Which, when there's another distractory thing, is actually a fact. You can try to make a sleight of hand check if you'd want to. Because bear in mind, while she's held in place, as you like go to the hand, you do have to like move it. It's more a thing of like doing it without making a bit of an effort. So make a sleight of hand check.
Okay. I'm also, if I'm really confident that they're like at the other end of the table talking, I'm just gonna, as quiet as I can, just go, trust me.
Make
Sleight
a
of
sleight of
hand.
hand check.
Kika's gonna walk over and pick up the feather that got thrown aside.
So basically, you're standing in front of it, this big, bright, colorful bird, in the way of this scene.
That's stealth by
Yeah.
hand. Select the
I will
thing.
say
Blue and sparkly, look at me!
that grip, the moment you say trust me, gets let go. And you just fucking
And I'm assuming because wait, am I just? Oh no, it doesn't turn invisible with me. It just
Nope.
is floating.
it is just floating.
And I'm safely under the table, and they're at the other end of the table.
They're at the other end of the table right now.
My going invisible doesn't. It's not verbal, is it? It's just a thing I can do.
It's a ring. It's an action
Yeah.
to use.
Then I will go visible and then invisible again, so it goes invisible with me.
I see. So you pick it up and just like quickly in the
Yep.
figure, and you're invisible behind a definitely sparking off magic as permanently as she always does, Kika.
Okay.
Where do you move to?
Okay, gang. What breaks invisibility?
Action.
Actions.
Attacking, or casting a spell. Specifically,
Using
those
an
two
item?
things. If you're casting a spell through the item, yes. Specifically, attacking or casting a spell.
For example, you could drink a potion while you're invisible.
What item, girls?
Well,
I can cast Misty Step through my amulet.
It would be casting a spell.
Fuck.
I'm assuming if the item says allows you to cast a spell, Misty Step.
Yes, it does. It is specifically
Okay.
casting.
It would be a
It
spell.
is specifically
Yeah, it's
casting Misty
specifically
Step.
Misty Step.
So it would break
Mhm.
invisibility.
And the door is open, closed.
The door is currently open, and there are guards at it.
How far away from me?
Where Legacy is, you guys pretty much stood at the door. Like it's about
Yep.
20 feet away from where you were standing. She is probably 25 foot away from the door, maybe.
Me?
25. The door is about, you can see into the gap of it, because it is a wide door. It's like, a 10-foot wide door.
Can I see? Am I at an angle where if I would Misty Step, I would be behind the wall, so you wouldn't be able to see me through the door from where she's sitting?
So like basically going behind the door from your angle, where she won't spot you.
Oh yeah, if it's like a corridor that goes out and there's a door, like the bit that's there's the door.
I know
and
what
then
you're
the
talking
connection-
about.
Yeah. Could I diagonally go that way? If I have to move up and down the table, I could.
I'd say with the stealth check you've made, you can get a few feet and get your way, and you're into the corridor.
Hang on, wait. Before I do this, how many times can I do that?
I don't think you can do it many.
Can I do it twice?
I think it's only once a day. I think it's only once a day.
Wait, no. It's got charges. Hang on.
Oh, you're right. It does. No, it does have charges.
How many charges is it?
Misty Step. It
It's
doesn't use
two,
all.
right?
It's 2 of them out of the 3, but
I have 5. Because
Use
it's
5
5 charges. Yeah, it fully charged.
you can go.
So I will Misty Step.
That's
to
right.
That
It
point.
started with 3, but it went to 5.
I went back up.
Out you go.
And then I will Misty Step again to get further away.
You at that point Misty Step into the door, breathe, begin moving, and Misty
No
Step
breathing.
again.
There's no breathing happening.
You begin
I
running.
Don't know where I am. I don't
are-
know where I'm going.
You're outside the corridor, and you're just down the corridor right now. Make a stealth check to not make the sound of those feetsies skittering against the ground. It's straight roll,
Good.
because no one is assisting you with this.
No, I don't need to at this point.
You are out of view.
And I
With
will
Spire of Blackgith in hand.
I will go and find somewhere that's not in this part of the castle to try and hide.
Okay.
Um,
Fair
Just for-
fucks to you, kid.
just for time frame reference.
That happened while
Did that
she was moving and
happen-
sitting down.
No,
That
but did
was over the course of like 20 seconds, maybe.
But did that all happen before Runara came back in, or after?
Runar was already back in the room.
Yeah.
Because obviously when the sending
She was under the
messages and when
table
that stuff
before
happened.
Runara
That's
left.
fine. So she
Or
came,
before
so Runara
Runara
came back in
but she was
during, but she was still on. The
no.
okay,
Like
that's
you
fine.
guys don't intercross. You were already
No,
back in
that's
the
fine.
room, and you were
What-
moving to.
What I'm asking basically is, was Runara still outside when the Misty Step occurred?
I would
But
have
no,
said
that's fine.
that you would have from where you were, because it depends on whether or not you sat down. Did you sit down?
No, I specifically said that I walk in and I stand by the door.
Okay. You see that flash of red in the corner of your eye from behind you just apparate, and then you just see Posey looking at you, and she just books it down the corridor, and Misty steps again. And you can see very clearly in her hand the long spire of the kid. You motherfucker! Mwah!
You did it!
What did I just do?
You just stole
Amazing,
Sauron's fucking
sweetie.
ring, kid.
Amazing, sweetie.
With Sauron's fucking
You're doing
ring.
amazing, sweetie.
Carry on.
The moon watching all of this. I raised that girl!
You're being a hero.
See if you are. See if you are.
I'll leave the room again and just walk down the corridor slowly. And just wait.
Well, make up your mind.
Yeah.
Fine.
Now close the
So-
door behind me.
The doors close out behind you.
Oh, I'll be invisible again, by the way. Carry on. Sorry.
You go back invisible. All right. Bear in mind, you did have to lean under Legacy's wings to where her hand is.
Yeah, Legacy will super know what just happened.
Yeah, no, she's super knows. But Legacy's wings are hiding her hands. So she doesn't see that the spire's not there. You fucking
I've planted a grenade on the rest of you and booked it.
That's fine, that's fine.
And taken the other grenade and left. Just out of character, she's going to realize. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
Well, we have very wonderful things now where it's a case of what happens first. So back into the room. She looks about all of you as you're all sat down. And okay, so, and after a moment, Runar, as you're leaving, coming in at this point is this half-elven figure with a wide-brimmed hat with a feather in it. There's points where the ears come out in the actual hat. You can see holstered on their side is a firearm, and on their back is also another. And they have a piece of paper in their hand that is wrapped around, essentially like, it's twisted up into a golden pointed one. It's basically that goes up and it will go into a canister then, kind of thing.
Or do we like cross in the corridor?
Basically,
as
you
I'm
cross
leaving?
in the corridor, yes, as she's leaving.
I'll stop him very quickly. Are you the scribe that we've called for?
Essentially, yes. What on earth's going on?
Can I just see your paper and ink very quickly?
Zalric, get out my fucking campaign, boy.
He was told
I'm
to
happy.
stall!
And she goes, there you go. Sure, just a moment. And she just like rolls it out. Like, it's just the paper and ink. It's just
me.
make a persuasion check because she
This is
doesn't
very
fucking know
important
you. They don't fucking know you.
Just give me the stuff. Run.
Ink
Or burn
inspector.
What? You never heard of this? What kind of scribe are you?
Considering Rockfen has just heard that there's apparently a Gith making a deal with the king. Yeah, it is Rockfen. It is fucking Rockfen. It is fucking Rockfen.
Oh my god.
Guns.
Guns,
Oh, yeah,
and
I-
like
I
Yeah,
heard the
I
guns
assume
and I
it's
was
by
like,
guns,
right.
but
I
Oh,
missed
yeah.
the guns. I missed the guns.
time for a gun. Like,
But like, of course.
Of course it's Rockford.
Carry on.
I'm sorry, but I don't know you. You can understand why right now this is a bit much. Yeah?
I can't. Blue, stop it.
Rockfen's actually not seen Kika with them.
That's what I mean. I'm like, name drop. It's what everybody else does.
Use the thing I hate to your advantage.
Oh, you don't know me. Okay. My name's Runara. I'm with we want to call ourselves the Moon Whales, but it's not. We've not got a name yet. With you know,
No.
Wittick and Kika
No.
and
Not more. Wait, you mentioned Kika?
yeah. She needs me to check anything that's going in that room. It's important.
Why? What's Gith doing? And as they're saying this, they're taking out the paper. It's like, what's going on? What is that Gith doing? Why do we need to check everything?
Just they're trying to make an important contract, so I need to make sure the paper is of high
Why are you
quality.
delaying me?
Oh fuck! Just trust me, dude. Just give me the paper.
The best way to like exonerate yourself. Just trust me.
Don't ask any questions.
Just begins.
Is there seriously like no guard escorting this poor scribe?
Because
Look-
this is a level 13 fighter, they don't need a guard.
Ah,
They pull out the gun and go bang bang.
Have they got all the paper in their hand?
The paper is currently wrapped up around the metal rod in their hand. Yeah.
I'll cast command and say drop.
Oh.
But I'll say it as part of the sentence like, just drop it here and go.
What's your DC?
It's a DC 15 of something. Wisdom saving throw.
Rolled a 10. They have a +4. You are a motherfucker.
Yes. Peak Krauser.
They drop it, ding, onto the ground.
I pick it up. Tell them you forgot this, and I'll cast Burning Hands and just incinerate it.
You guys in the room here.
It's quiet Burning Hands, a real quiet version of the spell.
You can't stealth burning hands. It's a Flammenwaffen going off in the face.
Yeah, but I'll cast it in a direction so it doesn't hit anyone or anything. Just
Yeah,
the paper.
but it's still a.
Don't you know produce flame?
No.
Oh.
I'm a cleric.
Oh.
King will just sort of glance at the flash of fire at the distance and she'll say,
The door is
The
closed.
door is
by the way, you
closed,
don't
but they
see
do
this.
like hear it, like reverberate. Like, what
Yeah.
the-
and possibly see some light under the door frame, but King will just say, I'm not sure if that's yours or ours. Anyway, discussing how we're going to decide the random matter.
And now carry on walking the direction Posey went after the paper's gone.
Oh, fuck. As you just like begin walking and like you're following the trail Posey went, you just hear feet behind you as you get a smack in the back of the head. You fucker! As they just run down the stairs, going to get more paper. And they're fast, so they might not take long. But
King
that's
isn't
another
being
debate.
particularly helpful because she doesn't
Um,
know. She's discussing points of this contract in preparation for paper.
I
Yes.
stick my foot out and try and trip them. As they walk past.
I want it on the cosmic record that Roxanne, we love you.
Yeah,
But
we do,
unfortunately,
Roxanne.
this is necessary.
I know.
I mean, you know what would have been hilarious? Go, hey, we're trying to delay them, so 'cause
Can't know
that
this
probably
person
would have
is.
helped.
Yeah, well,
No context.
they would have still also been
Runara,
persuasive.
what is Runara's intelligence? Is Runara going to do that?
Runara's intelligence is a multiplier of Rockfen's intelligence.
Runara, Posey, dumb bitch syndrome. We've covered this.
So you try to trip over the very athletic and acrobatic individual who basically just more or less bounces off of you like a cat bouncing off a wall and just proceeds past you downstairs as you continue your way. And we're back in the room. 10 minutes. What was
Scribe
that?
was called, correct?
Sildar kind of just like, why is the door closed? Open the door again. And the door gets opened up, and you can just hear feet in the distance. Robin! And you just hear echo, 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 echo. And he's just there going, I actually have called them. They were summoned. And after about 30 seconds later, you just hear, fuck, 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 and just rushing down the corridor. Sorry. I have it. I think something combustible touched up against the parchment that I had, and I had just worked with cleaning my guns out. So, sorry, sir. I have the paper here. And he goes, okay. So, and he just like, gets the ink out, and as he's beginning to write, he stabs the tip of the pen into his wrist, or just onto like like the between the index finger and the thumb. That point on the flesh is like points into there, then into the ink, and begins writing. And I am writing this out that you will return to us a grouping of either 2 heroes from the Defenders of Faerun, or 2 princes, or 1 of each. You have emphasized you will not give us an option. And he just begins, and you can just tell, like, he is, like, those of you who are somewhat competent at inciting, tell he is old manning his wrist so much to slow down. Slow man writing.
Who's the third party that will get to agree to the randomness of this, or are we to understand that you're going to randomly choose on your own rights?
I am not aware of who it is. For all I know, she might sit there and go eeny, meeny, miny, mo, but I don't know nor care who she picks or doesn't pick.
Well, being that you are the mediary, yes. Seeing that you are her mediary for us, would you not be able to ask her?
I mean, she's already done plenty for me as is by knocking out your queen, you know? And this is my first attempt. I want to do this right.
Exactly. You
Yeah,
got. You
that's
gotta make.
exactly why we.
You gotta make
like
sure
to-
you're doing it right. Because you've not done a great job so far. Let's be real.
Lou, I actually love
What
you.
are we doing?
We're fucking with fate right now.
You
That's
are
what we're
fucking
doing.
with fate.
Yes. How old are you?
Older than you,
I'm-
anyway.
Exactly.
Alright. It's gonna take a while.
What my colleague is trying to say is that we should make sure that we're dotting all our I's and crossing all our T's and making sure that we're doing all of this properly. And
That's
we're
fine.
all-
We can write up the contract as to say we're dealing with intermediary and to our understanding, and you can take your contract to your side and have it signed there. We'll get to that. Now, King goes over to the side of the contract. So, the party of the first part. If you've ever read a contract, you know how long this is going to take.
As you begin doing this, and she leans forward in her seat, you can just see blood begin trickling down the side of her mouth.
Is
Got a-
time an
got a
issue
little,
here?
Time's up. By a considerable sum. And you can just begin hearing the sound of bone cracking as her chest from behind and from behind her you see hooded, now only originally you see just blood coating over an invisible hand. As it apparates away, you see once again Hussar.
Oh,
And
Hello.
as you begin seeing light coalescing around her body, you begin hearing him speak something in a language no one here understands, and reaches down into a pocket at his side. And a gem, almost like a prism, just black, pure black, flicks it up into the air and spins as it begins chanting, and you begin hearing as the entire light apparates as it's about to shoot up, but like a gravity well, in, and he holds it in his hand. And no, I won't be agreeing to any contract.
that's fine. That's
And that's where we end the session.
King, it's like the party of the third part looks up. The party of the second part is dead.
just sort of licks the end of the quill, going to have to make an amendment there.
collapses into a little mess.
You motherfuckers, the pair of you going, who can we call? Who can we call? Who can we call?
I need you to know that me and Kay did not make those plans together.
No.
They
Figured.
I
depended
know
on each
you
other.
didn't. I know you didn't because I saw your eyes when both of you did either one of them.
Oh my days.
You know me, I do not metagame, that's just how
No.
King is.
I was saying, I was like, I'm so glad that King is here. I don't know if I'm going to agree with everything King says, but I'm glad we have a diplomat.
I'm so glad we have a diplomat.
Me and
I'm
Kels
glad you
only
had a
started-
pain in your ass
Me
to
and Kels
distract her.
only started messaging about what's happened after we were both out.
Yes, as after you both made the
Because-
decision, I know when you sent the message to Curls because she reacted, and I know it was kind of obvious what you were doing when I made Sildar perk his head up,
Mhm.
and it was like he just got a ping.
Because I was trying to give Kels therapy of how to deal with a post-Zal level shenanigan.
How do you do this all
Also,
the time?
I will say, the moment the prism was shattered, Legacy was unfrozen.
Whew.
Also, why RSI?
Amazing
much?
session.
Yeah,
Go on.
we love to see it.
Some are proficient in stealth, some are proficient in persuasion, but we're all proficient in being little shits.
Yup.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, Blue, you were
Oh.
kidding me there. Like, how old are you?
Sal.
I'm dying.
How old are you?
Too. The reason I even joined in was like, all right, I've known what King does when we've ever discussed anything remotely close to a contract. I'm like,
In other words, I've got to set her up and make this convincing.
You
Yeah.
guys have played enough chess. How many chess rules have you had to argue about? King's like, I have the book.
But wait,
All
but those are the
I
Neverwinter
wanted to
rules.
say-
in this
Rules
game.
as
Hey,
written.
every single rule.
I'm doing it by the Felbar rules. The Felbar system is far more entertaining. No, the Neverwinter system is far more rule-based.
It's just the D&D thing again. It's like King goes
3.5 is worse.
the King goes, it's rules as written, and Whittaker's no, it's rules as intended.
All I was going to say was that Lo was just doing improv dramatics, picking up. It's a legal situation. It's a court. I know this thing. I'll improv around it. Oh, but all the while, fuck.
Let's go faster. Let's go
That's
faster.
how
Let's
you
go
do
faster.
it.
Let's go faster.
Right,
that
well,
was,
let's
that
end
was
this
a
yeah,
shit.
let's end the
So
stream.
I may have had a timer on, and every time we went to a discussion about actual stuff, I went,
Yes, that's the way.
and
to
then
do it.
right back in when it came back to it, it was a case of, that's 13. No, it was 13 minutes past. So it's like, he's arrived, he's somewhere, now he's observing. Now we can make a move.
Da, da,
So you
da.
guys delayed longer than 13. So he was able to go, I know what's happening. I know who that is. So congratulations, you just aided in the regicide of another plane.
Yo.
Yeah.
Regicide!
Is this
So-
Assets to regicide!
3 cheers to Regicide. Let's go. Episode title.
Good night.
Episode non
Good night, everybody.
Curls, the
Good night,
meme.
guys.
Our players killing the royalty of our,
Good night, everybody. We'll
of our
see.
antagonists.
We'll see you
Bye.
next week.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye
How's the
bye.
little